The Zenthari Empire had ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years. Their crystalline warships glittered like deadly jewels across 100 star systems, and their reputation for ruthless efficiency kept countless civilizations in terrified compliance. When humanity first stumbled into their territory with outdated colony ships and naive diplomatic overtures, the Zenthari barely noticed. Humans were categorized as Class 7 primitives, hardly worth the ammunition. Commander Vexter watched the human settlement on Kepler 4 to be through the viewscreen of his flagship. The colony was small, perhaps 5,000 souls, nestled in a verdant valley that reminded him distantly of his own homeworld. But orders were orders. The sector was designated for Zenthari expansion, and primitives had no rights under Imperial law. Commence planetary cleansing, Vexter commanded, his translator rendering the words in cold, mechanical tones. The bombardment lasted 17 minutes. Plasma cannons turned homes into vapor, and kinetic strikes shattered the bedrock itself. When the dust settled, nothing remained but scorched earth and silence. Vexter filed his report, marked the world as ready for colonization, and moved on to the next assignment. He never learned the names of those who died. He never knew about the little girl with dark curls who had been celebrating her 7th birthday when the sky turned to fire. Her name had been Maya Chen, and she had 2 parents who survived only because they were off negotiating a trade agreement on Mars. Liam Chen received the news in a sterile conference room, surrounded by strangers offering condolences in a dozen languages. Eva Martinez, his wife, collapsed beside him, her screams echoing off the metal walls. For 3 days, they didn't speak, they didn't eat, they simply existed in a void where their daughter's laughter should have been. On the 4th day, Liam's grief crystallized into something harder, sharper, infinitely more dangerous. They think we're primitives, he said quietly, his voice carrying the weight of broken worlds. They think we're insignificant. Eva looked at her husband and saw something she'd never seen before, not rage, not hatred, but absolute certainty. She recognized it because she felt it too, burning in the hollow space where her heart used to be. She asked. Liam stood, his shadow falling across maps of star systems and shipping lanes that had seemed so important just days ago. We teach them what humanity really means. The Zenthari Empire didn't notice when 2 humans disappeared from official records. They didn't notice when certain black market weapons dealers went bankrupt overnight. Their entire inventories purchased by anonymous buyers. They didn't notice when a dozen human military veterans, discharged and suddenly found new employment with very generous benefactors. They did notice when the Imperial Governor of Regulus Prime vanished from his palace, leaving behind only a message written in his own bioluminescent blood, for Maya Chen, for every child. This is just the beginning. The Zenthari High Command dismissed it as terrorism, an unfortunate incident that would be handled by security forces. But then 3 supply convoys disappeared in the Horsehead Nebula. Then a Zenthari weapons depot on Titan's moon exploded with such precision that investigators found human fingerprints in the code that disabled the defense grid. Then the Imperial Senate building on Zenthara itself, the throne world, the unconquerable capital, suffered a data breach that exposed 3,000 years of war crimes to every civilization in the galaxy. Each attack came with the same signature, a simple image of a human child's drawing, the kind a 7-year-old might make, showing a family holding hands beneath a yellow sun. Vexter, now tasked with hunting these terrorists, studied intelligence reports with growing unease. His analysts showed him something horrifying. Humans didn't fight like other species. When the Krillians had resisted, they'd fielded armies and lost. When the Saurians had rebelled, they'd launched fleets and been destroyed. But humans waged war with patience, with precision, with a creativity born from millennia of fighting each other on a single death world where every advantage had to be earned. They're ghosts, his intelligence officer reported, mandibles clicking nervously. They strike from nowhere. They use our own systems against us. And Commander, they're not trying to win territory. They're trying to make us suffer. Eva stood in the cargo bay of a stolen Zenthari transport, checking the charges one final time. Around her, 15 humans, former soldiers, engineers, hackers, all parents who'd lost children to Imperial expansion, prepared for the mission in silence. They'd spent 8 months planning this operation, studying Zenthari psychology, exploiting every weakness in their doctrine. Target is the Imperial Academy on Zentha 7, Liam said, his voice steady. 1,200 cadets, future commanders of the fleet. Non-combatants. The team looked at him. This was the line they'd discussed, the boundary they'd promised not to cross. They killed soldiers, officials, those who gave orders or pulled triggers. But children, We evacuate them, Liam continued. Every single one. We broadcast it across every channel in the Empire. We show them that humanity doesn't murder children, even when our own were slaughtered without trial or mercy. We show them the difference between justice and genocide. Eva met her husband's eyes and nodded. The pain hadn't lessened, would never lessen, but this was why they fought. Not to become what the Zenthari were, but to prove what humanity could be. The operation succeeded flawlessly. 1,300 Zenthari children were transported to safety before the Academy's administrative wing, empty of all life, collapsed in a controlled demolition. The broadcast that followed showed Liam's face, tired and grief-worn, addressing the Empire directly. "You killed our children and thought there would be no consequences," he said. "You were wrong. We could end your bloodlines. We could make you feel what we felt. But we won't, because we are human, and we believe even your children deserve the chance yours denied ours. Consider this a warning. Dismantle your war machine, prosecute your war criminals, or learn what humanity truly means when you threaten our families." The message ended with Maya's drawing filling the screen. A child's hope rendered in crayon. The Galactic Empire had conquered countless worlds, but they'd never faced an enemy like this one that fought not with hatred but with the terrible, patient, implacable love that only parents know. And in the councils of Zenthara, for the first time in 3,000 years, the word surrender was quietly, fearfully discussed.